Alright, so in today's video we're going to be making a mandala, and what we'll need is a sheet of paper. We will need a pencil and 4 different colors. It can be any 4 colors that you really like. So I'm going to choose yellow, black, red, blue. Those are the 4 colors that I am going to be using for my mandala today. So I'll set those aside, and we're going to start off by segmenting our paper to make it easier for us. So we're going to fold it in half, just like a book here. If I were to be closing my book as best as you can. And you're going to fold it one more time in half. Okay, so upward, 2 folds. One that goes across, one that goes up and down, and there we go. So now we have these marks that we've already made on our paper, and those marks are going to guide us. So the folds there are going to be like our ruler. And we're going to go ahead and draw a circle right in the middle of our center area. We're also going to draw a line towards the top, bottom, side, side. Kind of reminds me of a target, or like a compass, north, south, west, east. Okay, now we're going to bring out one more line right in between each of those lines there. Kind of reminds me of a sun. And let's go ahead and connect those lines with a round shape, which is now going to make it look like a flower. We continue that same shape all the way around. Okay. Now I'm going to add a small rim-like shape just to have a little bit of contrast with my color as once I start coloring it in. And just a small little detail here all the way around. I'm also going to add one more line on the top, the bottom, and each side. We're going to start making our mandala grow with different designs. On the top, I'm going to make it look like a leaf. The bottom and each side. And it doesn't have to be perfect, as long as you try your best. That's all that matters. Since we have space in between each one of these, let's go ahead and add one more of those leaves right in between. And we're also going to shape it like a leaf. Okay, it's coming along little by little. We're going to make it grow even bigger by adding a rainbow-like shape from end to end. Just like a little bunny hopping from one end to the other. All the way around. And since we added a rim here, we're going to repeat that same shape around our mandala here. As best as you can. Alright. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring up another line on the top, sides, and bottom. Since we already did some leaves here, we're going to go ahead and repeat that same pattern on our next layer. So we're going to make a leaf on the top, one on each side, and one on the bottom. Okay, if you take a look at our mandala the way it is, it looks very nice. I really like the shape. And one of the mandalas that I've already cut out and colored in, I stopped right there. So this is a good point to just stop and color it in with color balance, color pattern, unity. So it creates a beautiful image just like this one. But if you want to take it a step further, we can keep going and making it grow even bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and add 4 more diagonal lines and make those also look like a leaf shape. Okay. Now remember what we did here and connected the ends with a rainbow line? We're going to go ahead and repeat that same pattern all the way around to make our mandala nice and unified and balanced with these repetitive round lines. All the way around. And since our frames are also repeating all the way around, let's go ahead and do one more here. Okay. Now we can also even add detail. So I'm going to go ahead and add a shape right in the middle of this area here. I'm going to just use a circular shape, a circle, all the way in each one of those sections. Okay. Now we can go ahead and put our pencil down and it's time to color it in. So I'm going to be using these 4 colors that I mentioned previously. And I'm going to choose 2 of those colors to color my flower. So I'm going to use red and blue. But I'm going to use red and blue in a special way. I'm going to use color pattern. So first I'm starting with the red. And then blue. So my color pattern is going to be A, B, A, B pattern. So red, blue, red, blue. Alright, so there we go. I've already used these 2 colors, so now I'm going to choose a different color from my 4 colors. And this time I'm going to go with black. I want to do my center in the middle with the black. And I'm also going to do my rims with that same color. All of my rims and actually all of my circles. So let's go ahead and do that next. So notice how it really helps to be spinning your paper around as you're coloring in those large areas. So that's one of the techniques that I like to use whenever I'm coloring in my sections there, if I need to move my paper around. But make sure you hold it with your other hand as you're going along. Now I'm going to go ahead and shade in those circles there. Alright, so there we go. It's coming along little by little. And And so I've already used my red, my blue, and my black. Now I'm going to move on to my yellow, my fourth color. And with my fourth color, I'm going to go ahead and add some yellow to my leaves. And there you go. Alright, so I've already used all four of my colors. Now I have to see how I can repeat them so that they can still create that nice contrast that I've already started here. So let's take a look here. I've already used yellow there for my leaves, and I've already used black there because now I'm going to shade in this area right in between. So I have to think about a color that will look good right there. From these four colors, which one will look best? Well, I know that yellow has already been used there, so it's going to blend in. It's going to be like so similar that I'm just going to get rid of my leaf if I color it in with yellow. If I color the black section here, or this area here with black, then my rim is going to disappear. It's going to blend in. Okay, so I definitely want to keep my rim. So these two colors, I'm going to set them aside. I'm not going to use those. Now I have either my blue or my red. Well, I can choose whichever one I want. The blue's kind of speaking out to me, so I'm going to go ahead and use blue. You can use whichever one you like. Let's go ahead and fill in those areas. Okay. So since I'm already using that blue, I would like to have a little bit of blue here on my outer rim as well. So I think I like this blue to go along these areas here around my circle. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with that blue and those little spaces there. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and fill in those leaves. Well, I can't use the blue anymore because I've already used it in so many areas there. I have too much blue. If I use it on my leaves are going to get lost. They're going to blend in and camouflage, so we don't want that. We want to create good contrast. The rim is also black, so I think I'm going to discard my black. I'm not going to use blue or black. But I could use the red since I haven't really used it. And I could also use my yellow. So I am actually going to use half of my leaf will be yellow and the other half will be red. So I'm going to follow that color pattern all the way around. Alright, so here we go. Now we're all finished with our mandala, and if you want to actually take it a step further, you can. You can add more detail if you'd like, and so it's going to look something like this. So in this mandala I used the same color combinations, but I just with a black thin marker I added extra detail all the way around. So that's a possibility. So from something like this can look even more amazing if you add more detail. So that is a possibility. Go ahead and do that next if you'd like. If you do, you can just go ahead and take your marker, and with your marker or your pen you can just go in there, maybe define some of those lines. If you have a thin marker, you can do that with a thin marker. or you can just do it with a black ink pen. So extra detail can really make your shapes pop up. It gives it an interesting touch, makes it look unique. You can personalize it however you like. Here are some other color combinations that I used with some of my other classes. So you guys can see, depending on the colors that you use will depend on the outcome of your mandalas. And they all look really nice as long as you follow the color pattern that we talked about. So just depending on the colors that you want to use, some of them are a little bit more on the cool colored palette. Others are nice and bright. Like, it just depends on you and what it is that you used. So you decide which colors you want to use, and you can try several more. You can even try them with different mediums. Like this one, for instance, has crayons in it. And it even has a little extra border on the outside. So take it a step further and see what you can come up with. Alright guys, so here we go. Now we have our beautiful mandalas all nice and finished. So if you noticed, we did have to use color pattern in order to create that nice balance that is going to unify, and it's going to make our mandala nice and complete. So that's the reason why we followed that same color pattern all the way around. So make sure that if you're making mandalas, try to balance out your picture with color pattern. That's very, very important in a mandala. And finally, I was able to do all of my patterns and my designs with the extra detail. So as you guys can see, I just repeatedly followed those areas there with extra designs. So that really adds to it. And that's how you can finish up your beautiful mandalas. But remember, there's no right or wrong answer to art. Try making some more mandalas with different arts, artistic shapes, artistic designs in there, and try to come up with your own mandalas. There's so many different patterns and shapes that you can add in there to make it interesting, to beautify it, to make it look very, very awesome. Just like our mandalas today. Thank you so much, boys and girls, and I'll see you guys next time.